this is Supervisor Ed Romaine, and you're watching Government at Work on Channel 18.
And happy Thanksgiving to everyone. We're here today because Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and a lot of people like to deep fry their turkeys. And if you're doing that, we have some recommendations and we have a demonstration that we're going to do later. Deep frying turkeys can be delicious. And as you can tell, I haven't restricted myself too often. But we have to be careful because there's a tremendous danger. And a lot of people, believe it or not, deep fry turkeys. And when they're finished, they can recycle the oil by bringing it to our landfill. Last year, we got over 350 gallons of oil from deep fried turkeys that we then used for powering some of our trucks in the town fleet. So that's worthwhile. But it shows you that a lot of people are deep frying. I am joined today with our Deputy Supervisor, Dan Panico, and our Chief Fire Marshal, Chris Merman, to talk about the dangers of deep frying. And I can tell you, number one, just put in the recommended amount of oil. Don't overdo it. Number two, do it outside. Number three, make sure there's no fire hazards around. But I'm not the expert on this, so at this point, I'm going to turn it over to our Chief Fire Marshal to give you all the tips that you need to know if you're going to deep fry turkey.
Good morning. The popularity of deep frying turkey has increased over the years, and so has the events of fires in homes. The main problem of doing this is people are doing it improperly. They're either, as the supervisor said, using too much oil. The temperatures are too high. They're not doing it in the proper location. A couple of statistics that we've come across while we were preparing for this is actually residential structure fires double on Thanksgiving as compared to any other day of the week of the year. Okay, and that's pretty substantial when you consider how much cooking is done in homes throughout the year. Additionally, the testing laboratories will not list any turkey fryer because of the possibility of fire due to not having a thermostat. Like an oven would have a thermostat, you get to a certain temperature and the oven stops the heating process until it drops and until the temperature drops and then brings the heating back on. With a deep fryer, it's just a continuous heat on, and it's up to the person using it to use a thermometer to check that temperature. So one of the major problems that they have is when the oil is too hot, that's causing the fires. When you're putting the turkey in with too much oil, your ratio to the weight of the turkey, the size of the turkey to the oil in the pot, causing the oil to pour over and ignite.
What would be the correct ratio?
The correct ratio is actually on the packaging of the turkeys or the deep fryer that comes with it. Another item that's very important is to make sure that the turkey is defrosted and patted dry. There can't be any additional moisture because, as we'll see in the demonstration, this turkey is partially thawed, so it has moisture frozen in it. It's going to rapidly thaw. The moisture is going to come out and cause the steaming effect. The steam effect is going to rise and atomize the oil, which has already been ignited by it overflowing. And you're going to see the resulting fire. And we do have these fires in the town of Brookhaven. Thankfully, not many. We've had over the years probably 3 or 4. But again, across the country, it's happening every Thanksgiving, many times over. So we're going to do our demonstration, and the best advice I can say is follow the directions. But really, it's a dangerous thing to do, and the recommendation would be not to do it.
Chief, can you just get your name, title, and spelling?
Sure. My name is Chris Merman. I'm the Chief Fire Marshal, Mehrman.
And can you say 3 or 4 fires in Brookhaven over what span?
Over
each year.
Each year, 3 to 4 each year.
And that number could grow as because deep frying is becoming a popular way to quickly cook the turkey and get it onto the table. And like most fried foods, they taste good, which means they're bad for you. But that's a general rule. Anything that tastes good is generally bad for you.
And you've never had a deadly turkey fry fire?
No. In the nation between 2011 2013, I believe the statistics said there were 8 deaths
Sir,
resulting from that.
would you say that people who are deep frying, that they know what they're getting into, or is that the danger?
The danger, it could be both. They know what they're getting into, but they're not quite sure how to do it properly. And then there are some folks that just say, hey, this is a great idea. I'm going to run down, buy a turkey fryer, and I'm going to do this for Thanksgiving. And don't think about it. Don't put more thought into it, because it's not like cooking a turkey in an oven.
Don't have the experience or the background, and they rush into it, or they only use it once a year and they forget, and they think, you know, yeah, if others are doing it, I can do it, and it doesn't always work out to their best interest.
You had said that it's not like cooking regular turkey. Can you
Right.
explain why?
Right. Well, one, when you put a turkey into an oven has an internal thermostat, which does not allow the oven to go above the set temperature. With this type of unit, with the turkey fryer, there is no set thermostat that prevents the oil from overheating. It really relies on the user to use a separate thermometer to keep checking the oil. So there in itself, that's a big difference, because you're overheating the oil. That causes the fire. Okay, that's one of the leading reasons. It's very telling that the testing laboratories that test all of our devices, from our extension cords to our seat belts, these testing laboratories will not list these items because of the dangers. They're top heavy. The possibility of the unit falling over while cooking is significant. The handles get very hot, so trying to move it, the possibility of burns are there.
Right, because they splatter. Obviously,
Right.
if it's even if you don't have a major explosion, even if it tends to boil over, like with any fried food, you have the danger of someone getting injured from splatter. And those could be third-degree burns.
Absolutely. So we're not only talking about large fires that possibly take a house down. We're also talking about the burns. You know, just the splashing. We've all cooked bacon before, where we've gotten those little splashes. Oh, boy, that hurts.
Yep.
This is significant. You know, so.
Can you talk about, if people are going to use them, you know, on the decks, next to the house on the vinyl siding, you know, how dangerous it is?
No. At least I would go with as with the state code as far as open fires in a backyard. We need to keep them a minimum of 25 feet to 30 feet away from a structure. So I would go along with those standards, that we're going to keep it away from the structures. We're going to clear, as the supervisor said, clear all combustibles from around it. Don't have the leaves on the ground, things like that, and keep the kids away from it. That's an
Vinyl siding
absolute.
will melt if it's even if you're close, even if it doesn't ignite. Vinyl siding will have a tendency to melt if it feels the heat source. If it's anywhere near there, you don't want to damage your house. You don't want to damage your deck. You want to create a fire hazard in your own home. So if you're going to do it in the backyard, away from the house. Make sure there's no combustibles around. Make sure you've read the instructions, so that you put the right amount of oil in. Look at the cooking time. Make sure that you're very careful about approaching this, so you're not getting splattered with this. So there's a lot of precautions about this. The Chief Fire Marshal recommended against it. It's not that we're against deep frying, it's that we're concerned about the potential danger. Our Deputy Supervisor, would you like to comment?
Sure, I'll just say holidays should be joyous occasions. We get together with our friends and family. There's enough tragedy in our daily lives every single day, whether personally or what we see on TV. Let's not have any fires this year in the town of Brookhaven when it comes to these turkey fires. We'll be back next month with our Fire Marshal's Office Supervisor to talk about the dangers of Christmas trees and the fires that are associated with them. But let's have none in the town of Brookhaven. Many people like to get together with friends and family, enjoy an alcohol beverage or two. You don't want your kids getting near that. that pot. You don't want it boiling over. Let's have 0 tragedies in the town of Brookhaven this year.
Okay, and I think we're ready for a little bit of demonstration of what happens when things don't go exactly right.
We're doing this here today. We've taken all the safety precautions, and we've done everything wrong here as far as we know we've overheated the oil. We know our bird is not completely defrosted and it's wet. So we've done the wrong things here to demonstrate what could happen. So gentlemen, if you're ready. Ma'am, if you could just back up a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah, quickly, that's just
Now imagine that in your garage where we find people using it. Imagine it in the overhang of the house or on the back deck, as someone had mentioned before. Vinyl siding, it's a petroleum product. It's going to melt and it's going to add to the fire. This is the dangerous part of this.